If you have diabetes, prediabetes, or insulin resistance, I know this question has probably crossed your mind 100 times. Doctor, can I eat fruit? I hear that question all the time, and I get it, because fruit is confusing. One person says fruit is healthy, so it's free. Another person says fruit is sugar, so it's forbidden. Then you look at your glucose after a mango or a banana, and you think, okay, so what's the truth? Here's the truth I want you to learn today. Fruit is not the enemy. The real enemy is not understanding how your body is handling glucose in the first place. Because if you don't understand why your glucose rises, every answer becomes, it depends. And that doesn't help you make decisions in real life. Can you eat banana? It depends. Can you eat pasta? It depends. Can you eat brown rice? It depends. So in this video, I'm going to help you leave the it depends zone and enter the I understand my body zone. I'm Edu Rodriguez. I'm a pharmacist, biochemist, a diabetes educator, and I've lived with type 1 diabetes for more than 26 years. On this channel, EDU Diabetes, I teach you practical, simple strategies that help you control glucose with more confidence, without extreme rules, and without magical promises. And before we start, do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe to EDU Diabetes, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Also tell me, which fruit scares you the most right now? Banana? Grapes? Orange juice? Write it down, because I read the comments and it helps me plan the next videos. Now let's start with the most important foundation. Why does glucose rise in type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance? I want you to picture this very clearly. In most cases, type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance are strongly connected to excess fat stored inside the abdomen, especially fat around two key organs, the liver and the pancreas. When the liver is overloaded with fat, it can start producing glucose when it shouldn't, even when you're not starving, even when you've already eaten. It's like the liver becomes a glucose factory that keeps running over time. At the same time, the pancreas may also become infiltrated with fat, and that can make it harder for it to release insulin in the right amount and at the right time, especially after meals. So you end up with a liver pushing more glucose into the blood and a pancreas struggling to keep up with insulin demands. Over years, that combination can move someone from normal glucose to prediabetes, then to type 2 diabetes, and then to complications if nothing changes. And here's a powerful point that gives people hope. When many people start losing weight, the first meaningful fat loss is often not the fat you see under the skin. It's the fat inside the abdomen, especially around the liver and pancreas. That internal fat can drop faster than people expect, and when it drops, the liver can calm down and the pancreas can function better. That is one reason why weight loss and abdominal fat reduction can improve insulin resistance, and for some people with type 2 diabetes, can even lead to remission. Not magic, biology. So when we talk about fruit, the question is not, is fruit good or bad? The question is, does this fruit help me control glucose and manage calories so I can reduce abdominal fat over time? That's why today I'm going to rank fruits using 3 simple criteria: carbs, fiber, and calories. Less carbohydrate tends to mean a smaller glucose rise. More fiber tends to slow digestion and soften the spike. Lower calories makes it easier to lose weight, and that helps insulin resistance over time. So yes, today I'm going to give you a practical ranking: 9 fruits that are usually easier for most people with diabetes, and 3 that require more caution. None of them are forbidden. The issue is dose, context, and strategy. And if you stay with me until the end, I'm going to give you a simple mindset that will stop the constant fear and help you choose fruit like an adult who understands their body, not like someone trapped by rules. Now, let's talk about the 9 fruits that are usually friendlier for glucose control when eaten as whole fruit, not as juice. First, I need you to hear this clearly. Whole fruit and fruit juice are not the same. When you juice fruit, you concentrate multiple fruits into one glass and you remove part of what slows absorption. That changes everything. Okay, let's go. One fruit that can be okay, but needs portion awareness is pear. Pear can be nutritious, but it's relatively easy to overdo because it carries a solid carbohydrate load per serving. The benefit is that it brings fiber and minerals, but for many people, the line between one portion and too much is easy to cross. If you love pear, keep it, but respect portions and pair it with protein or yogurt, especially if you notice spikes. Another fruit that people often eat in big pieces is pineapple. Pineapple has a lot of water and can feel light, but it doesn't have much fiber compared to how sweet it tastes. And because slices can be large, you may end up eating much more than you think. Pineapple isn't evil. It's just a fruit where portion size matters. If you want pineapple, keep the portion smaller and avoid eating it alone on an empty stomach if you are sensitive to spikes. Now let's talk about guava, a very interesting fruit. Guava has more fiber and tends to be more filling. It also brings vitamin C and minerals. For many people, the fiber helps slow the glucose curve, and it can be a better choice than sweeter fruits with less fiber. Again, portion still matters, but guava can be a smart option. Apples are another classic. Apples have fiber and a type of soluble fiber that can help with satiety and lipid profiles over time. But this doesn't mean unlimited apples. If you eat one small apple as a snack, many people do fine. If you eat 3 apples because you think it's healthy, you're still stacking carbohydrates. Now let's address oranges, because oranges are where people get tricked. Eating an orange as a whole fruit is one thing. Drinking orange juice is a completely different story. When you eat the orange, you chew, you slow down, you get some fiber, and it's harder to consume multiple oranges quickly. When you drink orange juice, you can easily drink the sugar of 3, 4, even 5 oranges in a minute. And that can drive glucose up fast. So if you love oranges, I'm not telling you to fear oranges. I'm telling you to fear the juice habit. Whole fruit is usually safer than juice. Next, papaya. Papaya is often well tolerated, and it's easy to portion because you can cut a moderate serving and feel full. It can fit well in breakfast or snacks, especially if you combine it with a protein source. If you do papaya with plain yogurt or with eggs in the same meal, many people see a smoother glucose response. Now we get into the water-rich fruits that can be excellent tools for people who struggle with cravings and want volume without a huge carb load. Melon is one of them. Because it's mostly water, you can eat a larger portion for relatively fewer carbs compared to fruits that are denser. This can be helpful when you want something sweet after lunch, but you don't want a big spike. Watermelon is similar. And I know someone will say, but watermelon has a high glycemic index. Here's what I want you to learn. Glycemic index is not the whole story. Portion size, total carbs, and the context of the meal matter. A small portion of watermelon after a balanced meal is very different from drinking a giant watermelon smoothie on an empty stomach. If you use watermelon strategically, it can be okay. Now, my top friendliest fruit in many situations is strawberry. Strawberries tend to have lower carbs per volume, and they bring fiber and powerful plant compounds. The beauty is this. You can often eat a satisfying bowl of strawberries without the same carbohydrate load you get from a banana or grapes. So strawberries can be a very smart snack for someone who wants sweetness, volume, and a gentler glucose curve. Pair strawberries with a protein source, and you often get an even better response. Now, let's talk about the 3 fruits that deserve more caution. Not because they are bad, but because they are easy to mismanage. First is avocado, and this one surprises people. Avocado is low in carbs, yes. It also has healthy fats, yes. It can improve satiety, yes. So why caution? Because avocado is calorie dense. If your goal is fat loss to improve insulin resistance, you can accidentally add a lot of calories through avocado without noticing. People can turn a simple snack into a calorie bomb by making a big avocado smoothie with milk, whey, and extras. That may not spike glucose, but it can slow fat loss. And fat loss is part of the long-term plan for many people with insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. So avocado can absolutely be part of your plan. Just respect portion size. Use it intentionally, not mindlessly. Second is grapes, especially dried grapes like raisins. Grapes are sweet, easy to eat fast, and very easy to overconsume. You can eat 20, 30, 40 grapes without feeling like you ate a lot. And that's exactly the trap. Also, grapes don't bring as much fiber relative to their sugars. So if you love grapes, measure a portion, don't eat from the bag, and avoid raisins if you struggle with glucose spikes. And now the big one, banana. Banana is common, affordable, and for many people it's a daily habit. Bananas are not poison. They're not forbidden, but they are dense in carbohydrates compared to fruits like strawberries or melon. This is where I want you to start thinking in carb equivalents. A single banana can carry a carbohydrate load that would require a much larger bowl of strawberries to match. That doesn't mean bananas are bad. It means bananas are powerful, and powerful foods require strategy. If you have diabetes and you're trying to lose weight and control glucose, banana is a fruit you need to portion carefully and ideally combine with protein and fiber, not eat alone when you're already insulin resistant. Now, here's the mindset that changes everything. Stop asking only, can I eat this? Start asking, how much of this can I eat? And what do I eat it with? And what happens to my glucose afterward? Because the most powerful tool is feedback. If you have a glucose meter or a continuous glucose monitor, use it. Test a fruit in a real situation. Eat a portion. Check your glucose later. Learn your body. That's how you stop living in fear and start living with data. And let me give you a simple rule that works for many people. Whole fruit is usually better than juice. Smaller portions are smarter than big bowls. Fruit after a balanced meal often spikes less than fruit alone on an empty stomach. Pair fruit with protein or fat when needed, like yogurt, cheese, eggs, or nuts, especially if you've seen spikes. And one more thing, if you're trying to reverse insulin resistance, calories still matter. You can't hack biology with sugar-free choices if you are still overeating energy. Weight loss, when appropriate, is often a major lever. Now let me ask you something. Did you notice what I did today? I didn't label fruit as good or bad. I taught you how to think. And if you learn how to think, you can handle any food, any fruit, any meal, because you stop being dependent on rules and you start being guided by understanding. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, pick one fruit you commonly eat. Choose a reasonable portion. Eat it as whole fruit, not juice. Eat it with a balanced meal or with some protein. And track what happens to your glucose after. Then come back to the comments and tell me what you discovered. Because your body gives you feedback every day. You just need to learn how to read it. If this video helped you, please like it, subscribe to EDU Diabetes, and share it with someone who is confused about fruit and diabetes. And tell me in the comments, which fruit do you want me to analyze next in a real-life example? Quick medical note before I go. This video is educational and does not replace medical advice. If you use insulin or glucose-lowering medications, changes in diet can affect your glucose, so monitor your levels and talk with your healthcare professional for individualized guidance. I'll see you in the next video here on EDU Diabetes.